All right. So very quickly, I will just go to the bio that I have for Pierre. I won't read the whole thing, but I will just say, as it says, he's a semi-retired entrepreneur, private investor, mentor, and an advisor for business owners large and small. I'm going to skip down a couple of things because a lot of this is going to come out in as he talks with us. I am going to go to the last paragraph, Pierre, because I like this one the best. Pierre likes to say he was born lucky twice, 218 years ago, or at the time of the writing of this anyway. His father's family founded DuPont Company, which was controlled by a family CEO until the late 1960s. And his mother's family founded their first business at about the same time, guiding it and keeping it private through several major pivots across the ensuing 200 years. The last of which was to form a convenience store chain some of you may have heard of if you've traveled the East Coast, called Wawa, which today employs about 40,000 people in nearly 1,000 locations on the East Coast. Between his family's ongoing ownership and control of Wawa and the residual repercussions of family's ownership of DuPont, he has been lucky to experience many of the positives and negatives of multi-generational wealth and successful and not so successful family cohesion. So with that, as I mentioned at the outset, when everybody came on early on, I met Pierre through Dan when Pierre spoke at an event that we had for all of our family business directors a couple months ago. Great stories. And one of the big things, Pierre, that really stood out to me, and you'll take it away in a minute here, but one of the things I'm sure you'll talk about that I've used to kind of market this too is traditions, that word traditions that comes up. You want to just address that for a moment and then?
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about that word in one specific context, which is that the idea of propagating family heritage or family wealth or a family business tends not to work very well after a bunch of years have gone by, because the matriarch, the patriarch, the founder, whatever, sorry to say, moves on from this earth. And unless you have put in place regular events, regular systems for communicating within the family, that person often drove those things, and then things will fall apart. So the idea of having that person, having someone who's thinking about trying to maintain some sort of family cohesion or business or wealth or whatever, heritage, legacy, I think was the word you used, across 20, 30, 50 years, if you can create traditions of communication, events, newsletters, discussions of the business challenges and activities, those become, if you can make them into traditions, they become self-sustaining. And you don't have to depend upon the matriarch, the patriarch, the founder. So that's kind of where the word traditions comes up for me. And I'll certainly talk about a few of those in my two families and some others that I've heard of.
Awesome. And again, for everybody on the call, this is an open discussion. He's got a PowerPoint he's going to show us here in a moment, and a presentation, of course. But if you want to jump in at any time, feel free to keep your camera on, your microphone muted. I will mute myself now, Pierre, and take it away.
Okay, yeah, please, interactive for sure. So let me just call up I do have a presentation, and I really use it just to prod me. Oops, that's not the right thing to do. I got to share it, don't I? I really just use it to sort of prod me along. So hopefully it won't be too terribly boring, but to start, I think I said this at the very beginning when some of you were on. I'll say it again though. I'm going to tell a bunch of stories, among other things, of that I think are illustrative of positives and in some cases sort of challenges in multi-gen wealth and family business and so on. If you have stories or if you have comments, please interrupt. Put your hand up or just talk, because I do want to hear. Both I want to hear other people's stories, which I will probably reuse anonymized and without great clarity, so no one will know who they are, but the stories are about. But I also find that this makes this event more interactive, and I think that'll be a better event for all of us. So interrupt, sneeze, do whatever you need to do. I would be pleased to have those interruptions. So. Yes, I'm Pierre. I am generation 5 in my mother's family, the family that controls Wawa, the convenience store chain, and generation 8 in my father's family. There is a generation 9, 4 wonderful and most completely grown kids. And I'm also a partner at Cerity Partners. We manage money. We help some families with multi-gen wealth. For the most part, we help 5 and 10 million guys and gals live wisely with their wealth, both in terms of investments and estate planning, tax, and so on, all kinds of things. I particularly have a passion for this challenge of and the opportunity of wealth that spans generations. And I will tell you, many of the things I will say are the result of 200 years in both families of tradition. No one thinks about that, about projecting wealth 200 years or family heritage. And I promise you, my ancestors did not do that either. And in fact, they didn't even think to themselves, gosh, if we did this event and we made it a tradition, it would really carry on for 200 years. No one even thought those words. So in some sense, I am just extraordinarily lucky that my two family businesses have stayed in the family for as long as they did. And the family has sort of remained together. And as a result, a variety of traditions has arrived. So I'm inverting that and saying that creating traditions of various kinds will help to propagate your family, because I see them as very beneficial within my two families. So the two families are these, the DuPont family and not the Wawa family. Wawa is the name of a small town. It happens to be the American Indian word, or at least one tribe of American Indian word, for the goose, for the flying goose, goose on the wing, as my grandfather used to say, which is what the logo above Wawa is for. That just happened to be a town that contained a dairy that became Wawa. And people knew it in the region 100 years ago for buying its milk from this local dairy. Back to DuPont for a moment. DuPont did go public more than 100 years ago. Curiously enough, the company does not have any detailed records of how that happened and when it went public. It's kind of bizarre, I find. But it has been in the Dow from the day the Dow was created, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It no longer is because it's a shadow of where it peaked. But we did maintain family control, even though we were public, through those magical control shares that everyone's heard about. We had some of those too. A lot of internal family gossip and controversy around the control of those shares. They were held in a particular holding company, and the management of that holding company was, oh my gosh, all before I was born. So I'm innocent, but I gather there were some great challenges and arguments that went on amongst hundreds of people, because even after 100 years, you're going to be a couple hundred people in the family. Today, the DuPont family, actually, November 1st, 2019 is the last time I asked, there were 4,568 living descendants, genetic descendants of the father of the man who founded the DuPont company. The father's name was Pierre, same as mine. Or I should say, mine's the same as his. My mother's family, the 1803 is a bit of a mistake. My Uncle Dick, my mother's brother, who's run Wawa for 50 some odd years, done phenomenally well for us all, put that number up there. And I often wonder if it wasn't just to bother his sister, who happened to marry this guy named DuPont, and to try to put Wawa in the same class as DuPont, because the truth is, the family business in 1803 was a distributorship. It was a sort of a merchant business. Then that kind of rolled into making iron pipes, and that kind of rolled into making fabrics, and that kind of went bankrupt. And they happened to own a dairy, and they began to sell milk. It's not like it was really, and that was and the selling of milk began in about the turn of the century, 1900. And we only track our relatives further than this, but the Wawa control and equity and the family business really only goes from 1920, and there are almost 200 of us 100 years later, descended from the person who we sort of trigger the beginning of the Wawa business from. So that's kind of accurate. 200 people after maybe 100 years, and 4,000 after maybe 200 years is absolutely true. In the case of the DuPont, we've never pruned. The DuPont family, we've never pruned. In the case of Wawa, you might say we pruned because just one branch had the dairy, and that's what the business is today. Let's see. Yeah, I was gonna make the comment, Ed, when you mentioned the Koala, I think it was Koala Ranch being sixth gen. I always like to ask, is that really, are all sixth generation descendants still talking to each other, still in touch, in contact? And one of the artifacts that I will mention a little later in family traditions is that the only economic interest that ties together the DuPont family is a cemetery, a place you go when you die. And there is an economic interest in a cemetery, and there actually are some tax reasons. It's able to mow its own lawn and maintain the real estate without paying real estate tax, because it is a shared economic interest that actually has an IRS tax designation. So totally arcane, but that's the only economic interest the DuPont family has. In 1964, the control shares were held in an entity that was broken apart by court ruling, and DuPont family no longer had any sense of control over the company. And even at that point, there were 1,000 of us. How could you possibly have 1,000 people agree to control something? I just don't think it's really possible. One point I wrote as we were talking earlier just came up. One of the things that both DuPont and Wawa have done very well, DuPont and the Wood family have done very well, is independent directors. And those of you, a number of you mentioned you have family businesses. I don't know how big they are, and you know, obviously for a small business, this may not be quite, a very small business may not be quite so relevant, but having independent directors has been very valuable for both the Wawa Corporation and the DuPont company, you know, 100 years ago. As a big public company, of course, they're independent directors on DuPont today, but for Wawa, it's been very important. And from the beginning at DuPont, it's been very important also. So I would urge you to keep that thought in the back of your head. And by the way, DuPont did go through one pivot while Wawa went through two. Wawa went from the Wawa family from 1803, the Wood family went from sort of ironmongery was the biggest business, into dairy, and then into convenience stores in '64. DuPont was, for the first 100 years, a gunpowder maker, an explosives maker, and it was the dominant explosive maker in America. In fact, it was one of the 5 or 6 large trusts that the federal government created, the Sherman Antitrust Law, I think it's of 1879, I think is the year, to break apart the DuPont Gunpowder Trust, because it owned all gunpowder being produced in America or something of that kind. So we were kind of robber baron folks, although we weren't in New York, we were down in Wilmington, Delaware. But that's actually going to be important in a little while, because you'll see some of the traditions we have to do with the unfortunate reality of the danger of manufacturing gunpowder. Unfortunately, it's a pretty dangerous business. Moving ahead. I want to sort of lay the groundwork because of something my dad said to me that never really dawned on me how important it was until 5 or 10 years ago when I began to do this sort of talking about multi-gen wealth. He said this to all 4 of his children, my 3 siblings. And he said it in 1969. So I was 10 years old. I have 2 younger brothers and an older sister, and we were all there. I remember the setting, and I just remember this first sentence. The trusts coming your way from my father, so my grandfather, and our ancestors before that are not just for you. Now, let me just disabuse you of any thoughts. There's not a lot of money in these trusts. You might take $1 billion, but you divide it by 4,000 people and you get a small number. So at this point, with luck, when my parents die, which probably is at least a few years away, there might be $2 million coming my way. I shouldn't expose that kind of information, but just to set the stage, money does not last hundreds of years, obviously. But nonetheless, he was very conscious of the fact that enabled him to have the career he did. The fact that there were some trusts that produced some income, and we lived reasonably well because of that. But the point is, they're not just for you. You have a responsibility to manage those trusts, to limit consumption of them, and maybe to add still more to those trusts so that they can benefit future descendants. It was a pretty powerful statement. As a kid, I kind of barely remember. In fact, truthfully, I've reconstructed most of the rest of this. It's only that first sentence. The trusts are not entirely for you. You have responsibilities around them. Responsibility to project that inheritance. This kind of messaging is really important as a part of raising kids into a modicum of, actually raising kids at all, but of course raising kids into a modicum of wealth. This is important, these kind of messages. And so that was a starting point for me, being aware of this challenge. I would highlight a few words. So let me start by saying, actually, what is wealth? And of course, everyone immediately jumps to wealth being money. Well, sure, it certainly can be. Wealth can be, of course, a business, which might be illiquid money. You might think of it that way, but it's a business. Wealth can be an art collection. It can be a strong philanthropic effort. It can be just as the words Ed used earlier, it can be heritage and legacy. And you know, it can be just a few philanthropic principles. It can be a few ways of living a lifestyle. It's a heritage. Mostly it ends up being kind of money, but I just like the fact that it can be all kinds of things. And some of it is tangible, some of it is not tangible. Let me also focus on the challenges of sort of trusts and descendants. I actually make one point, another message that I heard just a few weeks ago from a friend of mine when I was talking about this with him. He said that his father had given him a different message, and he's not extraordinarily wealthy, but his father had been very successful, an immigrant that had made a fair bit of money and had put it in trust. And he said something kind of a little bit different, which is also a valuable message. He said that he didn't want the wealth, the money, to deprive his son of the opportunity to be self-made. That's an interesting message too. The opportunity to be self-made. And so in that case, the father had put money in a trust, which released when the kid was 30, and then again at 40, and then again at 50. That's, you know, a funny way to do it, but it works too. So those kinds of messages are the things you might want to be thinking about if you are projecting wealth, or if you are working with folks who have some sort of degree of wealth. Is what are the messages? And as I'll say repeatedly, communicate about them. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. I use the word descendants in the very bottom there to have that wealth impact your descendants, be most positive and impactful way on your descendants and the communities in which they live. Interesting little side story about the word descendants. A friend of mine, another friend, a guy I got to know just a couple of years ago, he showed me a family charter. Some of you have come across family charters, I'm sure, that his father had been creating. His father had just recently died. This is about 5 years ago. And this is a fine document, 10, 20 pages. But as I was reading through it, one phrase struck me, that this family office, and by the way, family charters are not typically legally binding, but that would be a nice debate for some lawyers to have. But the family office will do a whole bunch of things to support descendants and family members. And one of them was, and somewhere in there defined who was a descendant. And it said, all kids and married spouses and children adopted before the age of 2. And then it rolled on to 12 other things. I don't want to debate whether adoption before the age of 2 or after the age of 2 is important, but what struck me when I read that was, wow, here's a recipe for a disaster if a young family member doesn't know that clause is there. Scenario is very simple. A family member marries someone, they maybe decide to adopt a child after 5 or 6 years. They adopt that child, the child grows up, gets into Harvard. They send the bill off because the family charter says it would pay for college education. They send the bill off to the family office and the message comes back, I'm terribly sorry. You adopted that child at the age of 3, we can't pay that bill. Now, whether or not they finally pay the bill, which I imagine they would find a way to do, you can imagine the anger that would create in that family member and his or her spouse, purely on the basis of, we didn't know that granddad or great granddad did this or said this, just because I didn't know. So that comes back to my traditions of communication. Sure, maybe the family office gives this family charter to every family member, but do they read 25 pages of legal words or non-legal words? Yeah, that's an interesting challenge. So finding a way to get some communication going within your family structure that communicates about these kinds of things makes all the difference. And again, a family office can probably go ahead and pay that bill, no problem. But the fact that they initially would get that negative would just be a sort of family cohesion destroying event 25 years from now, if that would ever happen. Okay, moving along. So how did I end up here? Or what did I learn from some of these things I've seen, some of these things I was born with? I've kind of concluded that there are 3 things you need to make successful multi-gen wealth. One is, and we'll talk a lot about each of these 3, but one of these is traditions of regular, safe, open family communications. Regular because it's got to happen every year or two. Safe because everyone's got to be able to talk. No one should feel hurt. No one should be fearful that they will be disrespected in some way or something. And there should be no judgment. And open, transparency, critically important, especially if there's a business, transparency. Those are all tough things to have happen. Regularity sounds easy, but safe and open are actually tough things to get right, particularly if you're owning a business and it's growing very rapidly. But that's essential for me. So systems, traditions to carry on. Second point, active, thoughtful engagement around the wealth. And around the family. And this, as I'll talk about, private investing, philanthropy, maintaining financial safety for individuals, engaging family in the wealth. And again, if the wealth is an art collection, even better. Why? What do we learn from this? And so on. One of the things I like to say a lot, and I'll use it a few times here, is this question of bidirectional mentoring. Family engagement is a great way to build bonds between generations, and that's truly bidirectional. If you're going to engage your kids in philanthropy, maybe they're going to tell you about philanthropy that you as the old guy or old gal don't particularly understand in the world today. So bidirectional. And then finally, you have to have someone, typically a service provider, who will present everything about the family wealth in the context of each descendant, and it is different. And that really needs to be a different person, that personal CFO, that person who provides understanding and indeed provides advocacy back to the family or helps the family member be an advocate for himself or herself. What do I need? And the simple example, the obvious example there is, you got a couple of grandkids, and one of them goes off to Botswana, marries a Botswanese person. They teach public school in Botswana. The needs of that family couple back on the family wealth are radically different than the family, the Goldman Sachs partner who marries another Goldman Sachs partner. They each have to be able to understand the wealth and what's available and have advocacy back to the shared entity, whether it's a business or a philanthropy or money. They each have to have understanding in their own context. Okay. All right, moving along. So I'm going to talk about each of these three a little more. So the traditions department, oh, sorry, it looks like we're out of basis here. Yeah, so out of sequence. Systems and traditions, and the point I think I made earlier to add is one and done doesn't get you very far. If the matriarch sets up a family meeting, oh, great, we had it. Really? Is that going to be a lasting benefit? Are you going to do it again? And by the way, is someone other than the matriarch going to organize that family meeting? And can it be fun so that the kids love going? I will tell you that my mother's family and my father's family, you'll hear about them in a minute, lots of parties, lots of events, lots of family events. My kids, as little kids, loved going to the big family meeting about Wawa. They all went in the room in the back and, I don't know, shot rubber bands at each other. I got no idea. I was never there. But it was so much fun for them. Someone took the trouble to create a culture that allowed these 5 and 10-year-old kids to have a good time at this event too, and to get to know their cousins, obviously, second, third, even fourth cousins they don't see very often, but to do fun while the adults were in their cigars and whatever, having their big meetings. And for me as a little kid, there was some of that too. So that's how you make things into fun traditions, and is actually, I think, quite important. I should mention a group I come to know in the last 3 or 4 years called Shaking the Tree. This is a nonprofit, a guy named Steve McCarthy and Marianne Fernandez, people here in New York that I know. They have these little videos of family dynamics, family scenarios that they've professionally made with actors and so on, that illuminate the kind of challenges all wealth creators and wealth inheritors have within their family. They're a great kind of tool to help bring some levity, but also some understanding and open things up. That kind of tool, whatever it might be for you, it can be is very important. And maybe in my family, it was the kids playing in the back, and they probably had babysitters back. I know they did. They had babysitters back there, and they had games and so on. Someone has to pay for that, of course. It can cost some money, but that kind of outsider can actually bring real value to helping to loosen up a family meeting pretty easily. At the bottom here are five individual things. Family communications, we'll talk about it in a minute. Family vacation home is an interesting one. I don't know if some of you have come across a woman named Mitzi Perdue. She apparently, she's a Purdue family, is a big chicken producing family in the mid-Atlantic. Huge, I think, nationwide at this point. But I think it's her father's family that is, I think, the Hilton hotel family, maybe.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
That sounds right. And someone back then created a trust for one purpose only, and that was to fly all of the family members back to the sort of family house every couple of years. And that's really pretty cool. Don't have that in either of my families, but that's actually a pretty cool idea, just to cover that bill, because it becomes a bit of a burden, obviously, especially if the family gets bigger. So she talks about that a lot, but that's an interesting example of bringing a family together and keeping it together. Perpetual Education Trust is a little paper I wrote. I can send you kind of about providing education across 100 years. Family charters, I mentioned earlier, are a tool. I have one example of taking it to the extreme is a family office in Florida that I once met that has literally a bookshelf. I mean, it must be 5 or 6 feet wide, full of these big books that the family has written about marriage, divorce, family business, investment, education, whatever. I don't remember what the topics were. And that looked really good. But then I got thinking, wait a second. Does anyone have to read this stuff? Looks like an awful lot for me, but that's maybe a good example, particularly if they have the traditions around talking about it on a regular basis. Okay, so I'll just make the point again about traditions. Self-perpetuating is the word I like there. So I'll give you some examples from my mother's and father's family, and I have a few pieces of show and tell. I don't have that map on the top left there. So this takes a few moments of background, which is, so my father's family, and as one of you, I think it was Ed, mentioned that you've, for 26 years now, you've been doing something, but you wasn't 27 because this year it didn't happen. So I'm going to one-up you on that. For 219 years, my family's been having a party on January 1st. Not 220, because this January 1st, we couldn't do it. This was the first time after 220 years in which we were unable to have our January 1st party, which literally started on January 1st, 1801, to celebrate the safe arrival of Pierre, his wife, the old man, if you will, and his 2 sons and daughter, each of whom brought their spouses, and I think there were 1 or 2 little babies involved. They all came here and they arrived on January 1st, 1800, and it was apocryphally an arduous journey. No one really knows, I suppose, but actually someone does know, because one of the spouses died on the way over. But anyway, so we've been celebrating that for a long time. So that little map, if you think about it, actually, I'll tell you that in 2019, January 1st, 2020, the last time we actually had the party, 750 people showed up. 750 people come every year, not quite every year, between 500 and 900 come typically in any given year from around the world at this point, among those 4,000 cousins, to a party in Wilmington. Now, as you can imagine, standing around in a big ballroom would be pretty dull. No one would like that very much. We're all standing in a big ballroom. So we actually have a whole series of parties by family branch. And the map is important. This is not an actual map, but we drive in little caravans by family branch from house to house. And this was very easy to do 100 years ago because all the family lived near Wilmington, Delaware. Today we're scattered to the wind, but we still do it there in Wilmington. And we would drive around from these houses, have a little half-hour party, kiss everyone, say, "Hi, cousin, great to see you." We wear badges because you can't begin to remember the names. And we hand out a gift. We all hand out gifts. Now I've got 101 of these gifts here I can show you. Something to hold beer mugs, beer things. This is my favorite, a coffee mug with one of the old DuPont logos on it. And I have one of these for every year now myself, going back to 1987, when my wife and I were married, because it's very sexist, sorry, the men give the gifts to the women. So I didn't ever have any gifts until I had a wife. And so we have literally one of these for every year. We don't use them, of course, because heaven forbid you break one. You know, I mean, they're not worth much, but they look really great. Anyway, Someone handed out chocolates in a little box a couple of years back. All kinds of things, candies. I mean, I imagine 100 years ago, you know, they were pretty expensive gifts. Today, there's no money. They're set of mints, which are probably stale by now, from Bill, Reed, and Bill. You know, people put their names on them. A couple of my favorites. Explosions at the DuPont gunpowder mills. Someone about 40 years ago compiled a whole bunch of stories of the unfortunate explosions at the DuPont gunpowder mills in the 1800s. And there were 2 explosions per year. Tough business. But some of them were a little worse than others, and they're documented here with sort of family stories. Cool book, actually. To balance that, here's a book handed out by my brother actually a few years ago called Safe. This is a reprint of a DuPont company booklet from 1915 about safety, health, and efficiency. Interesting. Safety, health, and efficiency when using DuPont products. Someone else handed out this wonderful one. This is a reprint of something called Farming with Dynamite. Okay, I never thought you would farm with dynamite, but this is obviously the DuPont company in about 1880, trying to build market share in amongst farmers. So you put those several books together, you got a pretty good collection of history. Anyway, so I could go on forever. Actually, there's a great one here. Someone else did a tour of the DuPont company boardroom. And one bad story, this is 2015, someone did this. Unfortunately, DuPont is a shadow of what it was many years ago. And the boardroom had this board table, which you can kind of barely see there, which is one big piece of wood, And they put it in 1915 when they built the building. They hoisted it in the wall before the wall was constructed. DuPont sold the building just a couple of years ago. DuPont no longer is in Wilmington, Delaware anymore, as the company has shrunk. And unfortunately, no one wanted to pay the price of taking that piece of wood out of the room, so they chopped it up with a chainsaw. Pretty sad. So anyway, those things, you know, world moves on, right? What are you going to do? So anyway, so lots of examples of family traditions there. So let me just jump on real quick. The family genealogy there. My father's family is too big a book to pick up. Literally, it's well, not that big, but it's a couple hundred pages. My mother's family is a little better, and there's a story that goes with this. This is the genealogy of my mother's family. Everyone, and so as I said, about 200 of us in here, and I'm in which branch am I in? I think I'm in I'm in this branch here, and there I am somewhere over here. That's me. If you can see that. So these things are easy to do. You can do one too. And obviously, you know, in the beginning, you're only going to have 5 family members at the top of the tree. Still do it, and then find someone else who can help carry this on. So they reprint it every 10 or 20 years. My Uncle Dick has a great story to go with this. A great thing he does. At the beginning of each family meeting, once a year, we have a wood family meeting to talk about the company. We don't really control it. It's all professional managers at this point, but we still have the meeting, and sometimes big issues do come up. But Uncle Dick would stand there with his laser pointer at the start of the meeting, and he would have a huge version of this on the wall, and he would point over here and say, Margaret Irwin, she had a baby, little Janie, in the last year. She was born on July 4th, and everyone would cheer for Margaret Irwin. And someone was married, and he would mention that. So there'd be 2 or 3 of these at the beginning with his laser pointers, and that right there is just a wonderful tradition. And of course, we're all taking one of these home. Terribly embarrassing. It happened to my son. He got married a couple of years ago, and of course, he and his wife were called out in this meeting. And I'm sure she cringed. Oh my God, no! But what a wonderful thing, right? It sort of breaks the ice of making them feel like a part of the family. So. Very important tradition there. I talked about the gifts down below. There's one story I got to tell very briefly about cousin Brip. This is one of my grandfather's siblings. He turned 100 on January 2nd, 2020. 100 years old on January 2nd, a year ago, at this party that I was talking about we were going to. And he's in great shape physically and great shape mentally. And everyone knows him, of course. I don't think he really knows me very well, but we all wear our badges, and it's a wonderful day. And So he's kind of a patriarch, if you will. Anyway, we have this tradition of driving from house to house, as I told you. And of course, unfortunately, we all drink eggnog in each of these houses. It's New Year's Day. What else are you going to do, right? Very healthy. So my brothers and I and a couple of people and some of my cousins were walking into this one house, and there's Cousin Brip sitting on a sofa by himself. Now, Cousin Brip's a smart, fun, healthy guy, but he's sitting there on the sofa by himself. Cousin Brip, Happy New Year's and happy birthday a day early. You're about to turn 100. It's so wonderful. Cousin Brip, you're not holding any eggnog. Can I get you a drink? He said, no, Pierre, I'm the designated driver at 100 years old. And I'm not joking. I'm going to flip ahead. I found a picture, Ed, which I had not shown before. That was the car. This is not his car. I did not get a picture live. When I walked out of that party, about half an hour later, there he was with about 10 great-grandchildren packed in the back of that, top down. It was a beautiful January day, driving the car he was given on his 21st birthday. Still driving it. Anyway, that's the kind of thing you want to aspire to, right? So anyway, that's the Cousin Brip story. Philanthropies, newsletters, I mentioned the mementos. These are the kinds of things anyone can do, many of these things, and it's a question of getting their traditions going. That is what makes these things worthy. And I know that if and by the way, the DuPont family, there is and same in the Wood family, there is an address book, so to speak, that one can access. I know that if I were flying into Thailand, where I happen to know a cousin of mine lives, or Wyoming, I have relatives in 46 states and 18 countries. I happen to know that statistic also, or that was a few years ago. But I know that if I called up the family office and said I'm going to be in Akron, and there's some cousin there, I think there's a pretty good chance that cousin will have a cup of coffee with me. And that's probably true of even randos, why not? But it is kind of neat to know that, and I've never done that, actually, honestly. Actually, it's not true. When I moved I spent some time living in China, a very brief period of time. But when I did that, I actually got to know a couple of cousins who live in Hong Kong. And it was just literally that. I called up the family office and they sent an intro email, and next thing I know, I'm having coffee. So anyway, more traditions. The one thing you can't do here is the bottom right corner. It's hard to do. That's a family cemetery. I already mentioned this. We do have a family cemetery. I have a plot of my own that my father bought me. It's a little weird. I'm not quite sure what to do with that. Whether I will want to be buried there. I guess I will want to be buried there. My grandparents are buried there. We have a tradition of going and putting a wreath on my grandmother and grandfather's graves every January 1st, because my grandfather was born on January 1st, which is kind of a coincidence. But it's hard to create a cemetery today. I'm not sure you should aspire to that. Anyway, moving right along. I think my second point was about engagement with wealth. So impact investing, philanthropic interests, I mentioned earlier, the bidirectional mentoring opportunity of engaging your family around investing, and truthfully around anything having to do with the family. If you're got a portfolio that you're investing, why are you making decisions without having your spouse and your grown kids and nieces and nephews if they are beneficiaries of that asset? If you are very keen on philanthropy of a certain flavor, engage your kids around that. That is probably the best thing you can do to keep a family together. Direct private investing, same sort of thing. And maybe impact investing falls under that bucket. If you're about to be investing as an angel in some little tech company you're looking at, or some bigger company, the chance to bring your family in, have them see the due diligence you are doing, have them see the reasons that you are making this decision, or actually to ask their opinion and get their feedback on this. That's particularly important because, of course, all of us are going to pick up a die someday, and they're going to be stuck with that business that you've invested in. And they much better off if they know why you invested, if they were a party to it. It'll be a much more successful investment. And of course, most businesses fail when you invest in them. So you got to be kind of careful about that, which is another reason to talk about it with your family, so they understand that there are risks and they won't necessarily hold it quite against you so badly, if the business does fail. And then, of course, having multiple people involved in your direct private investing, in your impact investing, in your charitable work, getting other opinions will make you a better person at doing it anyway. You got to be a little careful of the sort of herd mentality of the promotional, and of course, the word crypto, I'm hesitant to mention it, is a really good example of that today. I'm sure you got buddies, I'm sure you got family members investing in crypto or wanting to, and that herd mentality gets in the way. And the nice thing about bringing in a diverse set of people is some of them will stand up to that. And they'll say, well, wait a second, why exactly are we doing this? And how does it fit into the other investments we've made? That's just an example. You want to have that engagement around pretty much everything you do. So I'm going to give you a negative example, and I'm not going to use any names here, but someone who shall remain nameless, a relative of mine. We in my mother's family have been supporting a hospital in Philadelphia for 170 some odd years now, we've been chairman of the board, if you will, of that hospital since it was formed, and it's quite a substantial one today. And every 20 or 30 or 40 years, the family builds a new central building for the hospital. And there are dozens of buildings on the campus today, but the central building has the Wood name on it, the Wood family name on it. So one of my relatives stood up at a family meeting a few years ago and literally, out of the blue, without any discussion about this hospital for 10 or 20 years. I don't ever recall discussing this connection. And we all give a little bit of money and so on. But he stood up and he said, okay, guys, as you may know, it's now time for the 5th building to be built. That would be the headquarters of this hospital. And we're going to support this. It'll cost about $50 million. So at the back of the room are documents for you to sign on your way out, transferring your appropriate amount of money to this charity. Do that on the way out. Thanks and goodbye. And that to me is exactly the wrong thing to do. That particular cousin, very thoughtful guy, very intelligent guy, but he did not play that one right. Had we had a tradition, which we were lacking, of always covering that one major philanthropic effort that the family does at our annual family meeting, this would have been part of the discussion, right? And by the way, many people would have remembered the time we did it 30 years before. Same thing. But for some reason, and unknown to me, this has never been a part of this annual family meeting, physical family meeting we had. And so that's the mistake. That's the kind of thing that happens when you don't engage your family. Or rather, it doesn't happen. The family did come together in the end and has funded this building. But boy, there was some very uncomfortable discussions before we all left the room that day. And you can imagine why. All right, trying to move right along for fear of losing you all. ESG investing is a great one. The engagement opportunities around ESG, if you're going to do some of that in your family, we help a number of our clients do this, and not just help them find interesting investment opportunities or funds that might give good exposure, but help them get their grown kids and other adults in their family involved in the due diligence, the decision, and therefore gaining understanding and approval of and appreciation of, even if you don't need it. So again, bi-directional mentoring and ESG is a very hot topic these days. Great example of how a multi-gen family who does do some investing, does have some financial assets, some shared financial assets, can use the assets, the ESG investing as an example, to bring family together and to create traditions that will carry on over time. Okay, so the personal CFO, I think, is the last topic that I will cover in any depth. This has been important. My dad always did this. He paid for our taxes, which are a little bit complicated, or tax prep and so on. But that person did more than that for us, and that helped us understand what our situations are, each of my father's 4 kids. And I like to use the word radically diverse. My wife is a perfect example. I married her, a wonderful woman. She is completely different than the rest of my family. And that's a positive, mind you. My family, not inbred, I wouldn't use that word, but having new genes is always a good thing in a family. It helps it carry on. But because that happens, her need to understand these family assets. My son and his wife, my daughter, I got a daughter who's married also a few years earlier, and her husband, to understand these family assets And that's a tricky one because some people, and I will again use my family as an example, some people don't want to communicate about wealth. And I did mention earlier the family that had this adopt before the age of 2 or 3 or whatever it was. The reality is another family member of mine gave a bunch of low basis stock, zero basis stock to a whole bunch of her grandchildren. Actually gave it to her children. This is a cousin of mine. And but of course the kids were grown. They had their careers. They didn't particularly need the money. So they each created a trust whereby their kids and their grandkids, as it branches out from the original grantor, would get access to this. And the funniest thing happened. These were 3 kids who grew up together, first cousins of mine. One of them immediately talked to her kids and said, kids, what do you want? Isn't it great? Our grandmother's given us this wonderful gift. We should create a trust and we'll talk about what that means, but let's figure out what it should do and how it should be done. All good. Another one of the siblings in that group did exactly the opposite. So, well, wait a second, my 2 kids, I remember we were actually in a family meeting, she was talking about this. My 2 kids, I don't want them to be tainted even by knowing that there's this bunch of money there coming in their direction. So I'm creating a trust that will not disclose to them. Now, the first problem that created was that branch of the family, the kids of these family members are very close to each other. How does one of them talk about the gift from Granny and the other one doesn't talk about the gift or doesn't know about the gift? So I think that got resolved. But I don't want to say that either of those approaches is right. The concern that a wad of money would taint, I think I said that even in the beginning, take away your opportunity for self-actualization. But you need to discuss that. And we did. These were cousins of mine. And so it came up in a family meeting. We had a wonderful discussion that came as a result of it. But spouses are important, but you need communication around them. You need communication about the wealth. And you really need someone that can help you dissect the mechanics of any inherited wealth. What do the trusts say? What does it mean for you? And then help you advocate back in. And a personal CFO is something we do actually at this firm. It's the kind of service we offer to people. Who pays for it doesn't much matter. But the important thing is that this personal CFO must be, in my opinion, a fiduciary to each of the people being serviced, to the G3, G4, whoever it might be, who is having this personal CFO. Very important. That word fiduciary is an important one. And they must be beholden to that individual client. Even if the matriarch and patriarch is paying the bill or the family office is paying the bill, we actually want the descendant who's getting the service to be the one that signs the contract, creating the fiduciary obligations upon the service provider, who is that personal CFO. Very important message there in order to help them understand and so on. So tax compliance, cash flow planning. Cash flow planning is a big one. Building financial safety, understanding and advocacy around the shared assets. That to me is the real value of that such a person. So I'm going to sort of stop there. I have a few comments to make. No, I think we're pretty good. I think maybe people. Oh, I see there've been some chats on there. Anyway, let me conclude with. Actually, this slide is I stole from one of my firm's presentations, and I want to comment on a couple of the words that you can probably barely read it, but there are 2 or 3 examples there that I think are worth talking about. One is buy a vacation home. I want to buy a vacation home in 5 years. Can I do it? And I'll give you an example again of a really very well-raised, wealthy person who called me up and said, Pierre, can you help me? This is a guy with $1 billion behind his name. He said, I don't know if I can afford to buy a second house. My wife and I can afford that. I mean, literally $1 billion, and I'm not joking. He wasn't asking, could he afford the capital? He was asking, could he afford the cash flow, the obligations that come with carrying a house? And so that guy had been raised, I think, well, to be recognized that it's not about the assets, it's about how you live, how you spend the money, and so on. So that was an interesting example of buying a vacation home, and he's getting a service now which helps him figure out his cash flow and understand that. Top right, I want to start a business. That example is interesting to me because I know of another family office here in New York that literally they exist, among other things, to provide a hosting service for descendants of the family that want to start a business. You get a desk, you get an internet connection, you get access to the lawyer that's sitting there, you get an access to a CFO to help you do your business, and you get apparently $2 million. This was a few years ago. That's all you get. You don't get any more, but that gives you a great start potentially. So if you're the matriarch or the patriarch or the wealth creator, you might want to put that kind of clause, a bit like Mitzi Perdue did, ancestors did with family travel. Entrepreneurship is how you create new wealth. And that maybe is one of the great benefits that wealth can give descendants, is give them the capabilities to create their own wealth, to create their own success in life. And so anyway, I found that as an interesting example also. But that's the end of it. I do want to get some discussion. I hope people will have some questions, but there you go. Those are my thoughts.
Pierre, thank you so much. And yeah, we will open it up to everybody. One question I have for you, just as you think back about, I was floored when you shared it the first time, and again this time, of how many people get together other than January 28th of 2021. What's been the glue? What do you think has been that reason why, even though there's no business interest necessarily, it's family.
Yeah, there's none.
What keeps the 500 to 700 or 900 people coming every year, besides the free coffee cups and games?
I have exactly. Well, that's maybe part of it. I have the belief that it is the shared heritage and the recognition that all of us have that we share something in common, and it's a heritage. And it's not a heritage without challenges, but by and large, it's a positive heritage. It's a great thing that we each get, and it certainly was a positive influence on me as a kid. By the way, my mother's family too, even though the heritage is maybe 100 years shorter, although not really. My mom's always talking about the signers of the Declaration of Independence. I'm thinking, really? And let's be honest, how many people aren't descended? Anyway, these people have been living here for a couple hundred years. So I think it's the shared heritage, the recognition that I presume everyone does with their kids, that there's, you got this weird family. We have this funny thing on January 1st, but it's wonderful to go to, and you got a lot of cousins, and they understand the challenges that come with, a big successful business, but really a heritage. I think that's, but I don't know. Again, as I said in the beginning, no one sat there 100, 200 years ago and said, if we do this, they'll all be staying together 200 years from now. Right. No one said that. I'm quite sure. I wasn't there.
I have a couple more questions, but I'll defer. Go ahead, Joe.
Sure.
Pierre, how formal is the family governance or oversight, especially in the Wawa side? I understand DuPont is not a family holding anymore, but is it a very formal structure?
So let me just address DuPont for a minute, because we do own this cemetery. Well, actually, a nonprofit, a 501c13, owns the cemetery, but there is no, to my knowledge, there is no governance structure as to who sits inside that and gets to make the decisions about how often you cut the lawn or where the plots go. I've not explored that. I'm sure that there is some mechanism, but there are 3 people who work there full time. They take a salary from it. It's a big operation, as you might imagine. And they actually are just the database of all the family members, and they're very careful about that. Obviously, they produce this. All right, I got to show it, I guess. So if your family gets to be 200 years deep, you'll have a genealogy that looks kind of like this. Okay, lists of people by name, and then all these family trees, if you can actually see that. And if this happens to me about once a week, someone says, "Oh, you're DuPont. You know this Jane person?" And I say, "Well, what's her name?" And I'll look her up, and I'll find it. It's Richard Drew Heyman, page 16. I'll go to page 16. Say, "Oh yeah, okay." So if I go up the tree, and it turns out she's his 12th cousin. No, I don't know her. But anyway, so maintaining that genealogy is something that turns out we get a tax deduction when we send contributions off to it. That is the only benefit. So I don't know what the governance is within there. I'm sure that there's somewhere some rules, but basically I think the current 3 people, they will appoint someone to take over when one of them dies. My mother's family, which is where the real interesting thing is, so there's actually a trust entity, the George Wood 1921 Trust, that owns Wawa, and to which I am a contingent beneficiary upon the death of my mother. And that's where all the family members are. And it is the descendants from that trust that are the family that we now consider the sort of Wawa Wood family. All kinds of interesting stories embedded in that trust. It was built to hold a house, literally a weekend house for this wealthy Center City, Philadelphia family to go to. And the guy wanted his kids to be able to use it when he died. So he put it in this trust. It happened to have a dairy. 3 neighbors happened to buy milk from it. And that has now become a 40,000 person, $16 billion business owned by a trust that owns a house. So the governance is pretty broken inside that. But over the decades, we've gone to the court. I shouldn't say we, it was always others. I'd never been involved in that detail to get the court to allow, reasonable business management. And so there's a board of directors. There are requirements stated in the, well, there's actually now a governance, there's actually shareholders agreement now for the company, which we put in place only about 15 years ago, actually. Oddly enough, there was no shareholders agreement that governed the company. That shareholders agreement has in it how family board members are chosen, the number of independents who are on the board. And that works. So that's I guess the answer to your question. Right there is the governance entity. There are some slight variations on that, which we could talk about, that are kind of actually a little odd because it isn't perfect. But one of them is this thing that the trust, and those of you who know anything about trust law know that the rule against perpetuity is 100 years ago, and really until maybe 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, was a trust can only last as long as 21 years past the death of the then youngest living beneficiary. And Aunt Bessie died 12 years ago. There was an Aunt Bessie, and she was a baby in 1921, and she died 12 years ago. There's a clock ticking. That trust ceases to exist in October of 2030. And I like to say all hell's going to break loose because there's no law. I mean, that's why there's a shareholders agreement now, which hopefully will keep all hell from breaking loose. But at that point, mind you, will be 400 family members or 300 some odd family members. 10 more years from now, we're popping out every couple times a year. I don't know what the number will be.
Everybody gets a few bucks, right?
Yeah, exactly. So all kinds of interesting little challenges arise, but that's the simple answer to your question. So,
Thanks.
I'm curious if any other families that are on here do any of the things that Pierre talked about. If you have like these regular gatherings or these traditions that are starting out, I know some of your businesses are 30 years old, some are 60 years old or older. Does anybody have anything that you do that's similar to what we've heard Pierre talk about today? Crickets.
all right, guys, you can talk.
Other questions?
Yeah, one of the things, and it may be coming up for your family in the near future, it sounds like, is that families wrestle with is the issue of equity versus equality. How do you how do you typically work through that with your clients?
Oh, with my clients. Oh, because I gotta say, my family being as big as it is,
Yeah.
that question truthfully doesn't come up because there's nothing you can't. I mean, well, no, it came up in one sense in that, magnitude of distributions from Wall. Right there, obviously.
Yeah.
I want more money. She wants more long-term growth of the money. And by the way, the share price has done this. It's a private company, but we value it every year. It's done this for 50 years. My Uncle Dick, it's just unbelievable, pain in the neck too, but let's not get into that.
There's always Uncle Dick.
Right, exactly. But he's been right every single time. So what can you say? So anyway, but yeah, I mean, other than that sort of simplistic question of we want more distributions, but no, we want the company to grow bigger, and so, but clients, for me, it's actually come up only once amongst clients as a topic of that specifically equity versus equality, if you will, so and to me, it just again comes down to discussion. An open discussion. That's kind of what drove the word open I put in there. You gotta reveal, and it's gotta be safe to do that, to reveal what I need and what I care about and what troubles me or the challenges I face in my radically diverse family, which is different than my brothers and sisters and their radically diverse families, or divergent families maybe. So talk. And again, that comes back to the word traditions. It's not enough to talk about it now when we have the problem. It would have been much better if we'd had a tradition of talking so that we would have maybe seen this problem coming. or been not allowing it to come, because we would always be, oh, hey, a second, hang on, we got this one set of family members who have this particular characteristic, and we got to make sure that they're comfortable here too. So, but that really isn't the question you read about in the papers so much, but maybe that's helpful too.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else? How do you, the spouses that come into the family, how do you convince them that, hey, July 1st or January 1st, we're all going to a DuPont family gathering?
I do remember many a January 1st morning as a small kid when it was a pain in the neck getting out of bed at 7 a.m. to get to an 8:30 kickoff of this series of events. And especially as a teenager, what the heck? But by then, actually, I really did love it, because we do it by family branch. So you get pretty close to your first and second cousins or third cousins at this point also, because you travel around in a little caravan together and so on. What was the question again? How
you convince, like, your spouse, for example, hey, forget
well,
your family traditions, we're all going to ours.
Yeah, I will tell you that Jenny is the biggest proponent. My wife is the biggest proponent of this thing. She loves it. She's much more social beast than I. I'm a bit of a geek. I mentioned the software thing at the very beginning. I'd be happy to go sit in a corner and just do it all virtually, which would be pointless, right? Because you really need the contact. But she loves it. So again, I'm hesitating because it leads to another topic, which I'll mention also. But basically, your boyfriends and your girlfriends when you're a teenager, when you're 20-something, they do need to understand that they're dating someone that has this situation. And the January 1st party. I mean, I've skipped it. We haven't gone every year. We have skipped it a couple. We lived in London for a couple of years. We didn't come back a couple of times. We got my sister to steal an extra mug for us. Sorry, don't tell anyone.
There you go.
So you don't have to be there. Obviously, 4,000 people, 700 show up. But I think, again, just being open about it and being thoughtful about it is important. Now, that really raises the question of a prenup. Sorry, I'm going to use a rude word. I don't have the cojones to ask my kids to get prenups signed. But we don't really need them. Not like there's anything that valuable or complex here, but boy, that is a useful tool. Not because it binds anyone to anything, just because it gets the topic out on the table.
Yeah.
And given how badly we operate this country in terms of divorces, is a very high fraction of sort of marriages, unfortunately, I gather. It would be really good for everyone to sort of have that discussion up front. Not that you want to plan for failure, but you want to understand how you're going to deal with the failure when it comes. And so I think in wealthy families, that's actually pretty important. But I just think it'd be really tough to say to someone, you must have her sign a prenup. Ooh, boy, that's an ugly statement. But maybe that's the right statement. At least it would get things out on the table to have the discussion. So
yeah, that's a hard topic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's going to be even harder when the marriage falls apart 5 years from now.
Yeah,
that much I can promise you.
Got a couple more minutes. Anybody else have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything at all?
And not a question, just more a comment. Thank you, Pierre. I mean, a lot of this confirms a lot of what I've heard as far as traditions and continuing the legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I love the concept of giving back. How do you give back wealth, right? I think that is something I've never heard it captured like that. How do you contribute back to the wealth, not take from the wealth, which I think can be a mind shift for a number of people, right? I mean, just looking at wealth, thinking, I want a piece of that pie instead of, hey, how can I help grow that pie? So I just want to say thanks. And I love the way that's wrapped together. I guess if there's any question I would have, it would be, how can you create a mind shift towards, hey, that pie is not for the taking. It's a great opportunity to give into.
Well, I mean, my father, I guess, did it. And by the way, I don't know where he got it because, sorry, Granddad, my grandfather was a little too wealthy, if I may be honest. And he lived that way, unfortunately, looking back at him now. So Dad picked this up. I don't think he got it from his father, quite honestly. But Giving back, well, of course, giving back really, I actually inserted in a few places, I didn't really comment, the word community. And sure, there's a community in your family that you want to be giving back to, that you want to be supporting. And a lot of these traditions that we have in both my families are about that community of family. But I carry it further than that. It's about the community in which you exist. And if you're a business owner, it's the community in which your business operates. And my mother's family, about 25 years ago, started something called Associates in Need. People at Wawa all the employees at Wawa are called associates from the bottom to the top. A little bit communistic, really, but it works pretty well, because we want everyone to feel they are equal, and they truly are equal. Even the guy that's stacking the milk crates in the back of the store everybody's equal. Actually, I didn't tell a story. So, okay, so I'm sorry, you've started me off on a couple of topics. I'm trying not to forget the first one you started me with. Talking about community, good old Uncle Dick. I probably should not be using his name, but he's a great guy, and he'd be happy with all this.
Air quote.
He's retired now. Exactly, the ears closed. When I was a little kid, and still, I don't think he does anymore, he's getting quite old. But when I was a little kid, he had a tradition, and I thought it was the weirdest thing, but I now understand it. He would go Wawa stores, and there were maybe 150 of them, or even 100 of them back when I was a little kid. Not that many, there were about 25, quite honestly. Are open 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Every single one of them, right through COVID, by the way. Same thing. Christmas morning, 8 a.m., he drove out with his two little babies and would go stop at 5 stores to thank the people working behind the counter on Christmas morning. Christmas morning was a tree and presents and stockings. Wait a second, his poor kids. No. This is so powerful to have those kids see their father valuing the people in the community of employees. But really, that means, in fact, the community around it. So Associates in Need is this big nonprofit, now big nonprofit. I just saw on LinkedIn that they've given away $100 million in the past 10 years to support associates who, by and large, are minimum wage people at Wawa, a little bit above that. We pay a little better than that. Quite a bit better, actually, I think in most cases. But we find that they often fall in sort of hard times. A roommate moves out, they can't make rent. They can't pay their utility bill. And while Associates in Needs will receive grant requests and will pay the bill directly to the utility company. We'll cover the rent. Now, we won't do this for months. We'll do this once or twice, but to give the employee a chance to kind of get past the challenge. And we do this about, my recollection is about 20 times a week. We have this filtering process that produces about 20 of these. Typically, there are a couple $1,000 grants that go directly to. So that's another example of supporting the community. And these are maybe employees that you're not even going to have in another couple of months because the situation is bad and so on. But now we get into the things that Wawa does around the city of Philadelphia, where it's sort of headquartered next to Philadelphia, near Philadelphia. The care for. I mean, we do these mile-long hoagies. I don't know how many people know the word hoagie. It's a submarine sandwich. It's a big sandwiches. I love them. They're great. All kinds of things. We make a mile-long hoagie. And we divide it up and give it to the homeless kind of thing. And there'll be 50,000 people show up for this event in the middle of Philadelphia, every spring. They typically do it around some baseball game or something. So that kind of community engagement is great. And of course, what's also great about it is that the kids, and it's such a big business now, but the kids seeing their parents doing this about their communities, that's a form of giving back right there. But your specific question, I think, was really about giving back to the sort of rest of the family and to your descendants. I don't know. I mean, just my father's statement, these trusts are not entirely for you. You have an obligation, a responsibility to project them forward. That's so cool. A simple statement of that is live within your income. Something we probably should all be teaching our kids, and we probably mostly do, right? Live within your income, but you got to head that off if you're about to inherit wealth. So that's, of course, the counterbalance. You want to help them live within their income and give them reasons. Well, one reason is your descendants and your cousins and their descendants. Since you have to share this asset with them. And by the way, they always become zero at the end. You can't, the trust will never grow forever if you're using it.
Thank you. Thank you for the story and the anecdotes and stories about Wawa. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's inspiring. I like that a lot. Last couple of minutes, anyone?
Not a question, but a comment. I love Wawas. I used to live on the East Coast, and I would argue that their Philly cheesesteaks are some of the best in comparison to some of the well-known places.
I got a lot of Wawa paraphernalia here. There's a
Nice.
Wawa store. I think it may be called wawastore.com. You can.
Oh, there you
go.
No. Plug. Yeah.
Okay, so one quick story about that. I mentioned independent directors earlier on. So if you lived in Philly or in that area, then you know there's another store out in Pittsburgh called Sheetz, Sheetz. So Sheetz is a place of maybe 400 or 500, I'm not sure how many, convenience stores that sell sandwiches and gasoline, just like Wawa. Kind of funny that. And there's a Mr. Sheetz, that is their family name. Well, Mr. Sheetz, I don't know his first name, old guy now, very old guy, like my uncle, became a friend of my Uncle Dick in the 60s, before they both moved into their business roles. And so they became independent directors for each other. And the story goes that we taught Mr. Sheetz how to make sandwiches in high volume, fresh made in the store. Mr. Sheetz taught Uncle Dick how to sell gas. And by the way, Wawa is now the largest retailer of gasoline on the East Coast after ExxonMobil and Gulf and Sunoco. It's the fourth. So it's the largest independent. So obviously very successful. Now, unfortunately, these two businesses have expanded and they now compete. And they now overlap in middle of Philadelphia, middle of Pennsylvania. But the passion that Sheetz people have for how great their Sheetzes are, and the passion that Wawa people have for how great their Wawas are. I mean, there's fisticuffs right there. I mean, every time you put a Sheetz guy and a Wawa guy in the same room, you got trouble. You know? And ask them to pick a sandwich. Oh boy, that'd be a mistake. Anyway.
Well, if you're looking for a good coffee, you get the best right here with Jenny and Michael Gavinia. So, you know, they sell in a convenience store too, I'm sure, around the country.
We
Wawa
actually
puts a lot of effort into their brand of coffee.
we co-packed some product for Wawa many years ago. I think through the coffee provider that you had. So Wawa was selling these little mini brick coffees, I think, in the store. And so we
Do you
did
remember the
have
time
Wawa
frame on that? Do you remember the
I'm sorry?
time frame? Would you remember the year roughly? 80s?
No, probably 10, 12 years ago, somewhere around there.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
coffee is a big thing. I mean, we do, you know, we claim we're better than everyone else in the coffee department. You know, better than McDonald's, better than Starbucks. I'm not a coffee connoisseur, but we now have like 20 different choices right there. It's confusing to me, but I guess you appreciate that there are differences in the beans, and that people get attached to the particular ones they like. Yeah.
If we could sell one flavor, it'd be fantastic.
As long as it's vanilla nut.
There you go.
That's what I drink. Well, Pierre, thank you so much. And thank you everyone here. I did record this. We are going to put it out there. I'll put it up and send it out to our membership and to each of you as well. So you can, you know, pull some of the things, the slides I have separately. I'll put those on there as well. Some great nuggets there. Appreciate you taking the time, Pierre, to be with us today. I know there's a lot of things you can be doing, and for you to volunteer your time to be with us this morning, and this afternoon is great.
Great
Very much
meeting you all.
appreciated. Yeah, and just so many of your stories and just some of the traditions and things that you do. That's what resonated with me when I met you a couple months ago, and again today. It's just an opportunity. Even if just one idea or two ideas of what you guys do sticks with us, then it's definitely time worthwhile. So appreciate everybody taking the time, and yeah, by all means, we appreciate that. Thank you all for being with us today. It's noon, so you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I will get out all the information about upcoming workshops here in the next several days. And again, thanks all for being with us. And Pierre, I'll send a copy of this out to you as well.
That'd be
Thanks,
great.
everybody. Stay healthy.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
please,
you very
everybody
much.
stay healthy.
All right.
Take
you.
care,
Bye.
everyone. I always stay on until the very end.
Well, I'm not getting off.
All right. How you doing, Howard?
I'm doing okay. So you know, now that I saw him, yeah, I know that I had pumped gas for him in his car.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I figured one of the reasons I wanted you to be on because I knew that you knew that area well, and also just, you know, love having you on our calls. So.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I jotted down the information you wrote about Howard from Cali Distillery. I definitely want to reach out to him, get him on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a heads up that you're gonna contact him.